Hello. Today we're going to talk about a very important story just in the world's history. It's a kind of a fun one too. After Noah got off the boat, got off the ark, and his three sons, do you remember their names? It was Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Well, they they were married. Remember, they had wives, and I guess there were no babies born on the ark. They got off the ark and they went and had babies. They were having lots of, children, and they were populating the earth, but they weren't going anywhere. They were all staying right in the same place. One of Ham's sons is mentioned. They're all mentioned. There's history of them. But if I read all the names, you would just get bored. But there was one that was mentioned as a mighty hunter. Who likes to hunt? Does anybody like to hunt? He was a mighty hunter. You could say your papa was a mighty hunter. Not all the time, but sometimes. And your pawpaw loves to hunt. He sits up in a tree stand and watches for deer. And I think he killed 2 this year. And some of them are in my freezer. But so this guy's name was Nimrod, and it said he was a mighty hunter. But also besides that, he was a very strong person, and he built a lot of cities. He built a city named Nineveh. He built a lot of cities. I'm not going to name them either. But everybody spoke the same language. Did you ever wonder why we have different languages? Why do we have Spanish? Why do we have what are other languages? Russian. Why do we have, different languages? French. Why do we have that? Well, here's why, and it's in the Bible. So they decided they all spoke the same language, and they were all really smart. This blows my mind when I think about it, because today we have a lot of technology, and we have put people in spaceships and sent them to the moon. But it doesn't worry God. But these people all spoke the same language, and they decided to build a special city with bricks. And they decided to build a tower. And the tower was going to go all the way to heaven. And God looked down at them. And there was nothing wrong with building a tower. There's nothing wrong with a spaceship and going in space. But these people were full of pride. They didn't need God. They didn't care what God said to do. They were going to build a tower to heaven. And God looked at them and he said, there's nothing they couldn't do. They all speak the same language. I will fix them. And guess what he did? He confused them. He gave them all different languages, and they couldn't communicate. And then he not only did that, but he spread them all over the world. Then they were confused, and they couldn't build their tower to heaven anymore. It stopped. But that tower's name was called Babel, or Babel. And you know what it's named after? Babel is a Hebrew word that means confusion or confused. But did you ever hear a baby babble? It's the Tower of Babel. Babies talk, but they don't really talk. You know what I mean when they're learning words. But that's a very interesting story about how we got different languages in the world and how people got all over the world just coming out of the ark. So those sons of Noah, they were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And remember that Ham's the one who had Nimrod, the mighty hunter, and he was the really smart guy who started working on that tower. Well, God took care of him. And let's see if I think it's on this side. Yeah. So instead of going out and replenishing the earth like they were supposed to, they studied on building a tower to heaven. Well, God took care of them. What I want to say is that they were prideful, just like the serpent when he told Eve to eat the fruit that she would become like a god and know everything. These people thought they knew everything. Well, God took care of them. He took care of them and their pride. He scattered them everywhere, and So I just wanted to share with you about the Tower of Babel and that the Lord scattered them all over the earth. And I thought I was going to say something else about Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And we talked about Ham's son Nimrod, but there's another son named Shem that we're going to talk about on the next video that's very important. He's in the line with Jesus. Okay? So we'll talk about that tomorrow. I love you. Bye-bye.